Hey YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin if you're new here. If you're not, thanks so much for stopping back by. Today I wanted to unveil my January 2023 monthly budget. This is going to include a breakdown of some changes I made to my spreadsheet. So yeah, let's just dive into it. I don't want to wait. So first up, I am sticking with kind of the same pattern of like how I break things out. So that's going to be pretty familiar if you've been around. So housing and utilities. Unfortunately, our mortgage payment is going up due to an escrow shortage. I think that's probably pretty typical with how property taxes have changed and insurance prices. So it's gone up. But this is my new half, $467. It went from $889 to $934, so it's still like very affordable mortgage, especially because I only have to pay half of it. Yeah. So electricity, I have budgeted that based on the prior year's expense. So last January, I paid somewhere under 70 and I rounded it up to the nearest 5 to budget for it. The next three are water, internet, and trash at 10, 23, and 14 respectively. These are static and they're half. So that's what I am planning to pay. And then for my phone, I am at $37.89. That's a 5 gig limited data plan on Straight Talk. One thing to note is I am aware that there are colors in here and they are confusing. So I will get to the colors later, but it's not important right now. I just want to share the numbers first. So auto insurance, $150, $190. I suspect that'll change at some point through the year, but for now it's been consistent. Fuel, $150, doing pretty good staying under that. And then for debt, I am going to pay $290 for my auto loan and then $710 as an extra payment to that auto loan. So $1,000 in 1 month, and I'm hoping to do that for several months. So that is the debt section. Food, I've got $325 for groceries and $100 for restaurants. So we will see how that goes. Next up, we have subscriptions. So I have Spotify for $10, Prime for $7, and then you can skip on down and I pay $2 for Hulu per month. Now, I will mention that the reason all these other ones that are listed as 0 are in here is because my mom pays for 3 of them. So I kind of wanted to show you that like I really am not like going crazy with subscriptions, but I pay for the ones I do because it evens out what my mom pays for, and then we all get to watch a lot. So my parents are both elderly, like my mom's disabled, my dad is, for all practical purposes, disabled, and I personally just like binge watch TV. So we like to have a lot of options and it works for us. It's really not that much money in the grand scheme. I do pay for Disney. However, I did it annually, so I don't pay it monthly. So that's why that's in there. And then my gym payment, I don't owe anything for a couple of months, but it's $50 normally. So that's in there so that it's ready to go for when I do need to pay it. Because this is a template. I use this every single month. But anyway, miscellaneous, I've got my household and toiletry budget for $75, personal for $75, and the actual miscellaneous for $25. And that about covers it for the expenses side. So then we get over to my savings and sinking funds. And again, please ignore the colors momentarily. I will get to it. So Roth IRA, I've increased from $250 to $300 for 2023. Brokerage, I've increased from I think like $25 to $50 a month to $100 in 2023. And then for propane, I plan to put $100 in there. It's essentially a utility, but we only pay it once a year, so it's in the saving area. Next up, we have my home like maintenance and decor and all that kind of budget. And so I have $950 in there starting the year in that fund, and I'm adding $265. We do have a lot of plans for our home renovation. We've got some stuff we've got to get done this year finally. So definitely prioritizing that a little bit there. And then vehicle, I put $100 a month. My Jeep is going to need some TLC this year, so got to put something in there. And then for vacations and fun, I normally call it just vacations, but I spend out of it for fun. So like if we were to go to like Top Golf, I would spend it from that section. So I'm like renaming it and trying to really like pound it into my thick skull that I need to be funding that so that I'm not like sacrificing other areas whenever I do overspend there, because I know I'm going to spend money there. I want to do fun stuff. So $100 there for January. And then gifts, $35 for January. And I also wanted to note that I get interest payments from my high yield savings account, and I used to just put them in like a bucket called interest and like ignore them, but now I'm like I really just want to funnel those into gifts. It's free money I'm not working for, and gifts is where I struggle the most to stay on budget because I love giving gifts and I have a lot of gifts to give due to like baby showers and stuff. I'm just in a season of life where there's like a lot of people to give gifts to. So yeah, I did transfer that money into my gifts fund, and that is $88.56. So yeah, that's what that is. And then moving forward, you'll probably see like on a monthly basis, I'm like bringing in in like an income section the interest from that account into the gift fund. So that's what that is. Now family, $25 just for like if my parents need anything, need me to pick up a prescription or something like that. And then lastly, $100 to emergency fund. Although it's not my top priority, it is still a priority. So $100 there. Next up, we have my income section. I just expect 2 paychecks. I really don't expect anything else. Like genuinely, this is one of the few months I really doubt I'm gonna have any extra money. Like I'm hoping to make money elsewhere, but I really don't think I'll have anything coming in January. So that brings me to a leftover of -3 cents, meaning I did a good job zero-based budgeting for once. This paycheck, it's gonna have cents on it, so I don't really know how much, but I'm pretty confident it'll be more than 3 cents between the 2 checks. So I will not be coming in negative at the end. It's just that if I budget in the positive and then I bring in more, like it's just, anyway, I want it to be zero-based. Every dollar has a job, so that's why I have it as -3 there. Moving along, I will get to the colors now. So let me zoom out. I gotta zoom it out to 80, I think. Okay. Yeah, so normally I had donuts in my spreadsheets, and by like mid-year of 2022, I was like, don't even look at them because they don't even make sense. They were comparing things like apples to oranges because the income was always changing from what I thought it was gonna bring in, and it would throw off the percentages. So like you really could not compare the donuts. They didn't make sense. So I decided to change it to more of a essentially 50-30-20 check. So I'm looking at needs, wants, and savings and debt as the 3 things I'm looking at percentage-wise. And I have a little budget key here. And so I'm hoping to have under 50% be needs, around 15 be want, and then at least 35 be debt or savings. So with the budget breakdown, you can see like that's what I'm looking at. Under 40% is at need, under 8 at want, which is like really low, and then 54-ish at savings and debt, which is fantastic because I am trying to pay off debt. So of course I'm going to be putting a lot towards that. So that's kind of what I did to switch the donuts. And so now I want to show you how I calculated like which field is going where to like make sense for it to be, is it a need, is it a want, is it a savings or debt? So that's what those colors were. And so now when we go back, you'll see like all of my utilities are needs. They are green. You know, bills are green. Food is green. Of course, I need food. Household toiletries, you know, toilet paper, that's a need. And then when you go over here, you can see propane is always going to be a need, regardless of whether I save or spend in that like section. Vehicle, if I spend it, it's a need. If I save it, it's savings. And then, so like all the red ones are wants, things that I don't have to buy, but I want to. So that's going to be eating out. You don't have to do that. All these subscriptions, always going to be a want, my personal spending, and miscellaneous, because it's going to be rare that miscellaneous is a need. So I'm just assuming it's always going to be a want. And then over in the savings and sinking area, if I were to spend in my home section, most of the time it's going to be a want. Like occasionally it might be a need if it was like fixing a gutter or like getting the septic checked or something. But like most of the time it's going to be like things I want to do, like decor, couch, furniture, stuff like that. So yeah, it could change here and there, but for now I'm just going to leave it as most of the time it's going to be a want, and I think that's okay. For vehicle, like I said, if I spend, it's probably because I needed to, and if I save, it's savings. For vacations, if I'm spending, that's always going to be a want. If I'm saving, it's saving. For gifts, it's if I save, then it's savings, but if I spend, it's a want. And then for family, it's a little different. So family, I consider it a need if I have to spend on them because it's something they need. Like I'm not just like willy-nilly giving out gifts to them. If it's a gift, it's in the gift section. But if it's a need, it's in the family section. So that's why that looks like that. And then for emergencies, assuming if I were to spend anything out of my emergency fund, it would have to fall in need, right? So probably will never spend anything out of it, but we'll see. So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking when I did it. So some of them are like a little confusing, but most of them are pretty simple. Is it a need, want, or a saving and a debt? So that is how I have decided to kind of alter my budget heading into 2023 and really like hone in on making sure I'm reaching my goals and doing what I can. So yeah, moving forward, I'll probably take the colors off because they're just like distracting for me. So I'll probably take those off, but I did want to at least one time show you guys how I was calculating these donuts because I think they're really cool. So that's all I have for you guys. Let me know if you have questions in the comments, but otherwise have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, whatever it is for you. And I'll catch you in my very next video.